These are the games that shred your productivity, wreck your routine, and turn 5 more minutes into a 6-hour marathon. Exam tomorrow, work meeting, family dinner, doesn't matter, they win every time. Every system, every quest, every tiny detail is engineered to keep you hooked without mercy. Before you know it, the outside world is a distant memory, and the worst part is, you don't even want to leave. Before we dive in, tell me, what was the last game that had you so glued to the screen you forgot to eat? The one that stole your whole weekend and even crept into your dreams? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious. I'm Jax, and if you're new around here, welcome to Play Hunters. If you could hit that subscribe button to help the channel grow, I'd really appreciate it. From one gamer to another. From the first hours, The Witcher 3 grabs you with a world that feels alive. Every village wrestles with its own drama, every forest hides a secret, and nothing comes off as filler. The main story hits hard, but it's the side quests that make you stay. Choices matter, and you never know how things will unfold. This RPG dares you to listen, think, and decide, even when none of the options feel right. Combat demands focus and strategy. Swapping swords, casting signs, prepping potions, everything takes planning. Charging into a fight without thinking is a death wish. You'll master the systems over time, but the game always finds fresh ways to surprise you. Every new monster brings tension and a lesson learned. The environments are ridiculously rich fog-soaked forests, storm-battered castles, ruins buried in mountains, dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and NPCs reacting to it all pull you in. The soundtrack hits at just the right moments, and even the silence carries weight. It's the kind of place that makes you wander off track just to see what's out there. Nothing forces you to continue, but stopping is nearly impossible. Hours vanish, and you're still knee-deep in that universe. You wake up alone in a strange base on an inescapable planet until the Altars drops its wild premise. You're surrounded by alternate versions of yourself. It's sci-fi survival where working with yourselves is essential. The twist isn't just mechanical, it's psychological. Your decisions affect the world and the person you are in it. Each altar has its own personality, skills, and agenda. Some cooperate, others clash. You plan strategies, tweak schedules, manage the base, and face real ethical dilemmas. Gameplay fuses building, exploration, and story into one tight loop. It's all designed to make you question identity, choice, and consequence. And the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. The base feels alive, packed with systems craving attention, power, food, repairs, external events. Meanwhile, an unforgiving day-night cycle keeps the pressure on. Threats loom both outside and inside, and keeping everyone, yourself included, sane becomes part of the challenge. The Altars isn't just about surviving, it's about living with versions of you that you might not like, and that makes every choice personal. No lengthy tutorials, no glowing arrows telling you where to go. Elden Ring drops you into a massive, brutal, breathtaking world and says, good luck, freedom is total, but so is the danger. Death lurks everywhere. Hidden areas, outrageous bosses, buried ruins, everything's waiting and nothing is obvious. Combat carries the Souls-like DNA, precise, tactical, punishing. Now add open fields, horseback combat, spells, giant weapons, and endless builds. Every region introduces a new wrinkle, and every enemy demands respect. The game doesn't hold back, it tests patience and constant growth. You don't just level up, you evolve. The vistas are colossal and diverse golden plains, rotten swamps, floating castles, caves that feel like whole worlds. No matter how long you play, there's always something new. Best part? You never feel like you're wasting time. Even a brutal defeat teaches you something. There's reward in failure, beauty in hardship. Elden Ring refuses to spoon-feed, but those who persist discover way more than they expected. Persona 5 Royal starts like a slice-of-life anime and quickly morphs into something far bigger. You juggle school, friendships, and a parallel world where you battle twisted versions of human desire. It's about rebellion, injustice, and fighting to change the unchangeable. Each character's arc hits hard, and the bonds you forge only make it all more impactful. Turn-based combat mixes strategy with swagger, exploiting weaknesses, crafting the perfect squad, fusing new personas, planning is everything, menu animations, finishers, UI flair. It's all dripping with style. Battles never feel like a grind, they're a reward, and every new enemy deepens the system. Tokyo itself is a playground. Study, work, hang out, watch movies, read, wander back alleys. Everything boosts your stats and choices in the other world. It really feels like living a double life. Before long, you're scheduling tomorrow in your head and wishing for extra hours in the day. It's a long ride with layers upon layers, and the payoff is massive for anyone willing to dive all the way in. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes its time. It wants you to feel the weight of the journey, the dust, the long road ahead. Every step drips with melancholy. A single glance says more than 1,000 words. The story is about freedom, but also about guilt, change, and unbreakable bonds. And at some point, you realize you're not just playing, you're living in that world. Gunfights are intense, but the magic lies in the details. Saddling up, cooking a meal, cleaning your gun, sharing a word with a stranger, it all feels real, natural, meaningful. Fights are tough, heavy, risky, and missions hit with moral weight even when you don't get to choose. Sometimes the worst already happened before you even showed up. The world is a masterpiece on its own. Open plains, thick forests, forgotten tracks, crumbling towns. Every spot hides something: a campsite, a stranger, a letter, a memory. Nature feels overwhelming. Wild animals, dynamic weather, distant sounds. There's no glamour here, just a farewell to a dying Wild West. It's hard to walk away without feeling like something's been lost. And maybe it has. You just don't realize it yet. Hades starts with chaos, with death, with urgency, and it quickly teaches you that dying is part of the plan. You play as the son of the god of the underworld, trying to escape and failing over and over again. But with every run you learn, every fall teaches something new, every power changes the game. The rhythm is so sharp, dying never frustrates, you just want another shot. Combat is fast, frantic, and ridiculously satisfying. Dash, strike, ability, everything lands with surgical precision. Each weapon changes your playstyle completely, and the god's upgrades make every run unique. You're always evolving, even in failure. You feel stronger, even when you're getting wrecked. And when you finally beat a boss, it's pure hype. The mythology is clever and fresh. The gods are bursting with personality, and the writing is sharp and witty. Even the minor NPCs have stories that stick with you. Everything connects, and you start caring about every single interaction. Going back to the hub isn't punishment, it's a break to build relationships and gear up for the next run. It's a game that turns failure into fuel, and the more you fall, the more you want to rise. Stardew Valley begins with one simple decision: leave everything behind and run a farm. But what seems like a farming sim slowly becomes something deeper. You build relationships, uncover secrets, explore caves, and learn to slow down. Time passes, seasons change, and your little life in that village starts to take shape. Before you know it, the game becomes part of your own routine. The mechanics are simple but full of freedom. Crops, animals, fishing, mining, cooking, crafting, you pick your pace, no pressure. Just steady progress for those who give it time and care. Even with pixel art, beauty is everywhere. The sound of rain, a campfire's glow, the sunrise through the trees, it all lands just right. The villagers feel alive. Each has their habits, tastes, and past. You can bond, help, date, even get married. The deeper your connection, the more real it feels. Seasonal events, festivals, birthdays, they all build a sense of community. Even after hundreds of hours, there's still something new to find or improve. It doesn't demand anything, it simply invites you in, and once you accept, it's hard to ever walk away. Cyberpunk 2077 drops you into a dirty, neon-soaked, brutal future. Night City isn't just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing contradiction. You arrive as a nobody, but soon your name carries weight. The story blends ambition, identity, tech, and isolation, and every decision ripples through the world, just not always how you expect. Gameplay mixes shooting, hacking, stealth, and tense dialogue. You shape your style however you want: brute force, surgical strikes, or pure digital manipulation. Every mission offers options. Weapons feel powerful, perks shift the flow, and cyberware transforms who you are. You don't play a preset character, you build your own. Night City is one of the densest open worlds ever made. Each district has its own color, culture, rhythm. Luxury towers sit next to slums, flesh blends with machine. No icons scream for your attention, yet the city keeps pulling you in. There's a story in every alley, every glowing screen, every voice on the radio, and as you go deeper, you realize happy endings don't come easy here. It's about surviving a world that's already given up and still finding something worth fighting for. Slay the Spire doesn't look like much at first, but once the mechanics click, the addiction kicks in. It's a deck-building card game with random enemies and critical decisions every step of the way. No two runs are the same. You die, restart, and do better, and suddenly, hours have flown by without you noticing. The gameplay is easy to grasp but impossible to master. Choose your cards, manage your energy, build strategies, and hope the game doesn't crush you. The learning curve is just right. The game punishes, but never unfairly. And when you finally beat that insane boss, it's incredibly satisfying. Luck, planning, pure grit, it all pays off. Each playable character flips the game's logic. Every one forces a new approach, keeping things fresh. Even after dozens of hours, new combos await. Random events, relics, branching paths, everything fuels the sense of constant discovery. The game never settles into a routine. It's simple, sharp, and insanely addictive. When you say you'll play just one more run, you're probably on your third already. Death Stranding drops you into a shattered, silent world with one mission: reconnect what's left of humanity. You cross valleys, mountains, and ruins, hauling weight on your back, literal and symbolic. The pace is slow, meditative, but never empty. Every step takes effort, every delivery has meaning. It feels odd at first until you realize it's all about endurance. The core mechanic is traversal. You have to balance yourself, study the terrain, plot routes, and overcome natural obstacles. Dangers exist, but the focus is the journey, not the fight. When action hits, it's intense and unsettling, but the game truly shines in silence. In the rain, the load on your shoulders, all of it builds a mood that's impossible to forget. The connection between players is subtle but powerful. You never see them, but you can use what they left behind. A bridge, a ladder, an outpost. Small gestures that make a big difference. It's a quiet, emotional, cooperative multiplayer. Slowly you realize it's about unity, shared effort, and purpose. Even in a broken world, you can still help. It's one of the boldest concepts of its generation, strange, brave, and unforgettable for many. Disco Elysium opens with amnesia, chaos, and a hangover that feels eternal. You're a detective, but solving the case matters less than figuring out who you are. The city pulses with politics, poverty, and raw philosophy. Every conversation drags you deeper. Nothing is simple, answers don't come easy, and you start to realize the biggest mystery is in your own head. Its skill system is one of the most creative ever made. Your thoughts speak, literally. They argue, sabotage, hype you up, confuse you. Every stat you choose changes how the world unfolds. It's like your mind is the board game, and playing well means knowing how to manage your own impulses. There's no traditional combat. All the action happens in dialogue, decisions, and failures. You can die trying to get dressed, solve the case like a genius, or spiral into delusion. The game gives you freedom, but not to be a hero. It's about being human, flawed, weird, and every failure leads to a new, unexpected, often hilarious, sometimes cruel story. It's a game about trying to understand the world and ending up more confused than before, and that's exactly what makes it brilliant. Days Gone might seem like just another zombie game, but it hits a more personal, melancholic note. It's less about the dead and more about what's left of the living. You ride your bike across empty roads, through dense forests, facing threats from every direction. The story grows slowly, along with your bond to the characters, and before you know it, you're fully in. Your bike is your best friend and your biggest liability. You have to fuel it, fix it, protect it. Without it, everything's tougher. Combat gets intense, especially against massive hordes that demand planning, precision, and nerves of steel. You can't just run in guns blazing. Every encounter becomes a survival mission, and thinking before acting always pays off. The atmosphere is heavy with loss. Abandoned towns, wrecked outposts, desolate highways, but there's always a human touch behind it. A letter, a voice recording, a memory left behind. The silence hits hard, and quiet moments can hurt more than the action. You feel the weight of time in everything and the will to keep going anyway. It's a game about loss, but more than that, about not giving up, even when the world's falling apart. Very few games hit you with full force from the first strike. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice doesn't just hit, it knocks you down and demands that you get back up. Set in a blood-soaked, silent Japan, you push through ruins, temples, and twisted creatures. There's no mercy, just the constant threat that every step could be your last, and somehow you can't put it down. Combat is all about reflex, rhythm, and emotional control. Every blade traced through the air demands a perfectly timed parry. There's no room to improvise or hide your weakness. You learn by dying and grow through pain. And once the game sees that you've truly learned, the payoff kicks in, and it's addictive. The world is a vertical labyrinth. You climb rooftops, unlock shortcuts, face terrors, and resurface in places you never expected. The map unfolds smartly, always hiding surprises that keep you coming back. Even at its hardest, there's something calling you to try just one more time. The game doesn't just want you to win, it wants you to earn it. And when you do, every victory becomes a quiet obsession, a cycle of trial and triumph that hooks harder than any loot system, a pure addiction to precision, and by the time you realize it, it's already too late. Imagine an RPG so massive it feels endless and still convinces you to explore every inch of it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey drops you into a war of empires, myths, and gods, where each island tempts you with something new. It starts with revenge, but soon you're deep into mercenaries, cults, and forgotten civilizations. And that urge to explore, it never fades. The gameplay gives you total freedom. Stealth, head-on combat, ranged attacks, you build your own playstyle with skill trees that shift everything. Weapons evolve, levels rise, and the map keeps expanding. The pace never lets up, with new quests always around the corner. It feels like you're constantly gaining something. Visually, it's stunning. From towering statues to deep ocean ruins, everything has purpose and beauty. You dive into temples, battle in arenas, hunt mythical beasts. Even side stories surprise you, and something as small as a bounty contract becomes a reason to dive back in. The journey is its own reward. One quest leads to another, and before you know it, you're collecting fragments, upgrading your ship, clearing fortresses. The game doesn't push, it pulls, and suddenly, exploring one more corner of Greece becomes your new daily habit. There's something hypnotic about hunting giant monsters with oversized weapons in living, breathing forests. Monster Hunter World throws you into that loop from the start and never lets you out. The world is rich, unpredictable, and each beast is a new test. You start with small prey, but soon you're staring down titans, and the urge to master it all just grows stronger. Hunting is tactical, intense, and full of depth. Every weapon changes your playstyle, and every monster needs a different approach. The game punishes carelessness, but rewards patience. Learning patterns, crafting gear, trying new builds, it becomes your rhythm, and every hard-fought win just makes you want more. Even outside combat, the addiction stays. Forging armor, farming rare drops, unlocking new areas and quests, it all becomes part of the loop. The world feels alive. Monsters fight each other, flee, ambush. Every hunt has surprises that make you jump right back in. Even when there's no rush, the game calls to you. A missing item, a returning monster, a build you've been dying to try, time melts away. This is one of those rare games where repetition doesn't get old, it gets addictive, and in the end, you don't want to stop hunting. Yakuza Like a Dragon does the unthinkable, ditches the series' classic combat for turn-based RPG battles, and somehow it totally works. The main character is an RPG nerd, and the world bends to his imagination. That leads to hilarious fights, wild attacks, and a unique tone that blends heavy drama with ridiculous humor. The story dives into loyalty, redemption, and starting over, and once it grabs you, it doesn't let go. Combat is deep, strategic, and full of flair. Every character has job classes, special moves, and unique interactions. You build your party, plan turns, and use the environment to your advantage. It's turn-based RPG with the soul of a street brawl. Flashy effects, absurd finishers, and every fight keeps its momentum. Even the most over-the-top battles make sense. The map is packed with things to do: racing mini-games, karaoke, company management, retro arcades, and among all the chaos, side quests that go from absurd to genuinely touching. Every alley hides a story, and as wild as things get, there's a beating heart behind it all. That blend of nonsense and humanity is what makes the game so special. It's an RPG that breaks the rules and delivers one of the franchise's most unforgettable rides. Tactics Ogre Reborn revives one of the greatest tactical RPGs of all time, now with refined balance and modern tweaks. The story remains deep, political, and full of twists. You command squads in a war with no clear heroes. Every decision counts, and every battle carries narrative weight. Nothing's black and white. Everything has a cost. Turn-based combat is the game's heart. Positioning, elevation, terrain, and initiative all matter. You build your army freely, choosing classes, abilities, and gear. The AI has been upgraded, making fights feel smart and dangerous. Even if you know the original, the updates make everything flow better and hit harder. The art direction stays faithful. The updated sprites keep their charm, now with more clarity. The soundtrack has been reorchestrated, still epic, still haunting. A cleaner interface makes the systems easier to manage without sacrificing depth. It's the kind of game that makes you stop and think before every move, and every win feels earned. Pure strategy with soul and story. A masterclass in tactical design that still stands among the greats. No Man's Sky launched with huge promises and a rocky start. but it pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in gaming. Today, it's one of the most complete space exploration games ever made. You travel across galaxies, discover new species, build bases, trade, and survive the unknown, all with near total freedom. Before you know it, you're lost in another star system. The mechanics have evolved massively. Flight is smoother, base building is deep, and there are tons of ways to play. Missions, space combat, crafting, exploration, it's all there. And the game encourages you to follow your own path. Whether it's mining, researching, or just wandering, progress is steady, but always at your pace. Planets are procedurally generated, so the variety is insane. Exotic ecosystems, extreme weather, ancient ruins, buried secrets. Even after dozens of hours, something new can still catch you off guard. The universe is so massive, you'll never see it all. That mystery is part of the magic. Every journey becomes a story, and you never know what you'll find next. NieR Automata starts out looking like a stylish hack and slash, but quickly reveals something much deeper. The story plays with ideas of purpose, consciousness, and repetition. You control androids locked in war, but the more you play, the more you realize every part of this world asks hard questions. The narrative unfolds in layers, and every ending shifts your entire perspective. Nothing's random, everything has meaning. Combat is fast, fluid, and full of style. You blend melee attacks with auto-fire, switching weapons on the fly. The animations hit hard, and the bosses are wild and creative. What's most impressive, though, is how the game switches genres without ever losing flow. 1 minute, it's full-on action, the next, it's bullet hell. Then suddenly, it feels like a retro game, and it all just works. The soundtrack carries the emotion of the entire journey. It shifts with each moment, place, and even character. The visuals are muted, metallic tones, towering ruins, giving the game a look all its own. It's a desolate world, but beautiful in its own way. Every detail is there, just waiting for someone willing to slow down and look. It's a game that breaks the rules with purpose. Strange, poetic, and impossible to forget. Dredge looks like a chill fishing game until it isn't. You pilot a small boat across strange waters, fishing by day and trying to survive the night. But the deeper you explore, the clearer it gets. There's something lurking out there. Twisted fish, bizarre structures, distant whispers, and this constant sense that something is watching. The gameplay revolves around a routine fish, sell, upgrade your boat. But time moves fast, and once night falls, everything changes. Fog rolls in, creatures appear, and your sanity drops. You need to move fast, choose your path, and stay hidden. The tension builds even in the quiet moments. Calm is never really safe. The style blends retro charm with cosmic horror. Menus are clean, smart, and the maps are packed with secrets that lure you toward riskier waters. You meet strange folks, uncover lost relics, take on shady requests, and even without direct exposition, the world tells its story piece by piece. It's a small game, but with massive atmosphere, and once you start, it's impossible to stop at just one run. Horizon Forbidden West takes everything the first game did and expands it on every level. The world feels more alive, more vertical, and far more unpredictable. The machines are still awe-inspiring, but now they come with new behaviors and even deadlier threats. The story dives deeper into themes of origin, control, and survival, and you feel right at the center of something huge. Combat is quick and full of variety. You've got traps, elemental weapons, melee combos, and enemy-specific tactics. Fighting giant machines is epic, demanding prep and smart thinking. New abilities, smoother parkour, and a more flexible upgrade system give you tons of ways to play. Each weapon opens up a whole new approach. The environments are jaw-dropping. From high-tech desert ruins to lush jungles hiding ancient secrets, everything's alive. The colors, sounds, and detail in every biome make exploring rewarding on its own. Even side quests feel rich, with strong stories and memorable characters. There's always something fresh to discover. It's a game that refuses to just copy and paste. It grows, sharpens, and keeps you hooked on every detail. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is still one of the most authentic RPGs out there. No magic, no dragons, no powers, just blood, mud, religion, hunger, and medieval politics. It's all about realism, and that changes everything. Every choice matters, every wound leaves a mark. You feel like you're living in that time period. No fantasy, just survival. Combat is technical, based on physics, angles, and stamina. You have to think like a real swordsman. It's not about button mashing, it's about staying calm, reading your opponent, and striking at the right moment. Every weapon has weight. Armor slows you down. It's not slick, it's heavy, and that makes every win feel earned. The open world is brutally realistic. Poor villages, working castles, dangerous forests. Everything follows real-life routines. Time moves on, people have schedules, the world doesn't wait for you. And because of that, it feels alive. Quests don't loop, they have a beginning, middle, and end, and they demand real attention. Nothing is handed to you. It's an RPG that rewards patience with immersion you won't find anywhere else. This time, the journey leaves the claustrophobic tunnels behind and faces a shattered world head-on. Metro Exodus marks a bold turning point for the series, expanding into open landscapes without losing the tension that's always defined it. You ride aboard a rusty locomotive cutting through a broken Russia, where every stop reveals a new kind of horror. Abandoned stations, radioactive swamps, deserts, frozen forests, each place tells its own story, and nothing is ever truly safe. Gameplay blends open-ended exploration with linear stretches of pure dread. Supplies are still scarce, weapons need maintenance, and every bullet feels like a costly decision, both financially and mentally. Even with bigger maps, the pace remains tight and tense, where silence often hides the worst. You move slowly, carefully, checking corners, opening drawers, sidestepping traps, and when combat hits, the pressure explodes. There's no walking away without scars. The environments are a masterclass in atmosphere. A heavy sadness lingers in the air, cities eaten by time, frozen bodies on the ground, twisted creatures roaming the ruins. It all feels painfully real. NPCs aren't just background noise, they speak, pray, argue, tell their stories. Each station is marked by its own scars, adding to the immersion. You're not just chasing objectives, you're driven by the need to see what's left of the world. Over time, the journey becomes something deeper. The search for shelter, answers, or redemption slowly gives way to moral choices and quiet moments that shape the ending. Even in the calmest hours, the shadow of what's coming never fades. And what's strange is the more devastated the world becomes, the more you want to stay in it. Not for hope, but to understand how far things have fallen. Uncharted 4 kicks off with an offer no one would refuse: one last shot at adventure, no matter the cost. From the start, it's clear this story is about closure, about old promises, unresolved ghosts, and the weight of walking away. It's more mature, slower when it needs to be, but no less gripping. Every chapter holds on tight. Action scenes are still jaw-dropping, intense shootouts, wild chases, moments that feel straight out of a blockbuster, but now there's room for silence, for dialogue, for small choices in how you move or explore, making everything feel more natural. Gameplay blends shooting, stealth, and climbing with incredible fluidity. Everything feels sharp and responsive. The environments are breathtaking. Tropical forests, lost ruins, mansions, mountains, deserts, and a full city built for vertical movement. Every area is packed with detail. The art direction and level design guide you without ever needing markers. You see a cliff, you know you can climb. See a cave, you feel the pull to explore. It's a game that knows when to blow things up and when to just let you take it all in. And even as the curtain falls, it leaves you wishing for more. Now, tell me, what was the last game that completely hooked you? The one that made you lose track of time, skip plans, and ghost your social life? The one you only stopped playing because your body just couldn't take it anymore? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what game truly consumed you. If you can, hit that subscribe button to help the channel grow and never be stuck wondering what to play again. And don't forget, I'm leaving a card up top with a video on the best hack and slash games that will totally hook you. Check it out. I'm sure you're gonna love it. Big hug, happy gaming, and I'll see you tomorrow.